Welcome to another review here on Ray Runway Does Music, where today we're looking at the newest album in AFI's discography, self-titled, otherwise known as the Blood Album. Having been together for just over 26 years, AFI has always been an influencing name in the punk genre, with their own influences coming from Joy Division, Sam Hain, and many other sort of dark 80s groups from the UK or similar areas in that same musical spectrum. With this new album, it is actually their 10th, coming after the likes of classics like December Underground and The Art of Drowning, and the more recent but still everlasting Burials. What a lot of people don't understand is that these guys are much more than just a basic punk label. They mix elements from horror punk, goth rock, and similar namesakes to make their signature sound. With dozens of songs under his belt, Davey Havok's voice manages to still hold a strength enough to be heard bouncing off the walls of a music hall, with Get Hurt being an excellent example of how he can convey emotion in a sound and tone that many critics and vocalists would consider just flat and emotionless, but it's very much not that whatsoever, as it's not only being, projected very well from Mr. Havok himself, but expanded upon by the backing vocals of the rest of the band in this song. The prominent element lies, however, where there's usually an outlying weaker point within the band. However, here in the release, AFI, I'm seeing no such thing. With the aforementioned December Underground, the vocals held a high place above all other elements, in my opinion, when at times... I'm sorry, my script's kinda all over the place. Which at times found itself alright, but other times drowned out what were honestly great guitar sections from Jade. Pudgett, I don't know how to pronounce his name. On this self-titled effort, however, there's a very subtle balance that keeps room for constant improvement on the sound they've perfected over the years. Snowcats once again shows off Davey's captivating voice, which is only complemented and enhanced with ever-growing suspense in the bass and drum patterns. A lot of albums in the last few years have managed to find themselves in positions where they only have 10 or maybe 11 songs due to only having so much content available to them to put out, or wanting to avoid taking risks. But here with this album, there's risks aplenty, along with just a wealth of songs at 14 total. And more often than not, these risks take off without a hitch. But there are faults, of course. While the 4 singles released to promote the album throughout its cycle gave a clearer idea of what lay within it, Dumb Kids, towards the latter half of the album, sits as one of the strongest songs on the album, better than all 4 of the singles in my opinion. And honestly, maybe one of the better songs in the past half-decade of their music as well. Instead of straddling the line between calm and emotionless like a lot of AFI songs, regardless of their quality, you'll feel this more rushed feeling that takes anticipation mentioned before and punches you right in the face for it. Take a shot every time I mention that in a review. I have too many cliches. This song is carried further and further until it dissolves into an impactful solo on guitar, while Havok belts out the song's title, among other words, in response. These two elements bouncing off of each other and reflecting back is pure greatness from them musically, and I didn't expect to hear that in just a random song on the track here. This isn't to say that the singles themselves are bad by any means. White Offerings, loved it immediately as soon as it came out. It has all the elements of AFI, with a slow calculation leading into this inferno and beats of all this music coming together. The guitar sections are always the strongest thing in my opinion, but here you see the bass just coming in and taking over. Although I did find myself noticing that the drum patterns either got very repetitive or non-imaginative throughout the 4 singles, those being Snowcats, White Offerings, and 2 other songs which don't come to mind right now. I know the song, like the lyrics and such, but I don't remember their actual titles. But the 4 singles were very much kind of iffy when it came to the drums, but the bass and guitar really flourished. Of course, disregarding the fact that the vocals for AFI songs are honestly usually very much a strong bits. Going away from focusing on those vocals for that moment, however, which is a trap I find myself falling into with my analyzation quite often, the immediate next song is Pink Eyes, an absolute guitar player's dream. If they want something that borders on absolute groove tabs in their bass and pacing. Now, is this their best album? No. but surely more critically acceptable than the last couple albums, with Burials and Crash Love especially being very divisive among the fan base and critics alike. Now, going to my own rating of this album, however, I'm going to be giving this album a very modest 8.4 out of 10. I love this and see it as one of my personal favorite AFI albums, if not one of my personal favorite albums of 2017 as a whole. But like I said, there were a lot of elements such as the singles and promotion for the album that could have been done much better. Now, after all that, if you look down in the description below, you'll find a link to my personal favorite song from the album. Over here should be some more of my reviews, or hopefully if YouTube algorithms does things right, you'll see some AFI videos over there. Go check them out. They're one of my low-key guilty pleasures, and I say that because there's just not a band I can really connect with often, but there are certain songs like, 17, I believe is what a song is called. Yeah, 17 off of Burials, which I just love without bounds. But like I said, if you enjoyed this review of this album, AFI, be sure to do one of the following: like it, dislike it, subscribe, unsubscribe, your choice, and I'll see you in the next video.